I'm very happy to share the first recipe. This is a diabetic friendly. Do not do the mistake of taking the Rajgira which is not puff. When I show you how to cook, I will be telling you how much to add what. Today in this recipe, we are going to show you serving it in two different ways. It's very easily available in India. आपको हर जगह मिल जाएगा. Hi everyone, I welcome you all to my YouTube channel and I'm very happy to share the first recipe. This is a diabetic friendly Amaranth Granola. Amaranth is basically called Rajgira in India. They also call it Ramdana. It's a millet, has various names. So let's take you through the full recipe. So first thing what we do is we need amaranth for it. This is Rajgira and it is puffed Rajgira. Do not do the mistake of taking the Rajgira which is not puffed. Otherwise it will be very difficult to make. Okay. So this is a diabetic friendly recipe. So the sweetener that we're using is an apple sauce. This is the homemade apple sauce. I will show you how to make it as well. We are not using any sugar, honey, maple, any of all that because as I said it's a diabetic friendly recipe. The other thing we need for this is almond butter, unsweetened, unflavored almond butter. The third thing that we need for this is nuts of your choice. You can, whatever nuts you need, you can take. When I show you how to cook, I will be telling you how much to add what, and the recipe as well as the ingredients, all the measurements are mentioned in the caption, so please do check that. The other thing that we need, unsweetened mixed berries. These are seeds. Seeds are optional, you can add or you can skip this. So I'm not going to be adding seeds to this recipe. You can just put it on top while you serve it also. It tastes equally good. Then what we need is some pink Himalayan salt. Then I've just kept a little bit of stevia on the side if we need to sweeten it a little more. Cinnamon powder. And this is Sri Lankan cinnamon. Sri Lankan cinnamon is way better and it's very easily available in India. आपको हर जगह मिल जाएगा. And it's very good for people who have bloating. So you don't want to eat something and feel bloated. This is what is going to help you not feel bloated. Then vanilla essence for that little flavor. So cinnamon and vanilla are two things that are going to add flavor to it. And of course the apple sauce also gives a beautiful flavor. So let's get on to making this recipe. For this, the first step, we've taken about half a cup of apple sauce. This is homemade apple sauce. This is about half a cup of thick homemade apple sauce. Then we need unsweetened almond butter, again half a cup. This works as a very good fat sauce. Granola mein usually people add coconut oil or some oil. So we are not using any added oil because almond butter is a good fat. So we are using nuts as well as almond butter, which is homemade. Don't worry, you will get the recipe of this. Then another very important tip about baking, you always need to remember before adding your dry ingredients. If you want to give a flavor to your food, always add the flavor to your wet ingredients. Okay, so here what we are doing is we are adding about 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. Okay, you can add more if you want, that's not a problem. Totally go as per the flavors that you like. Okay, the second thing for flavoring that we are adding is this Sri Lankan Cinnamon Powder. We are adding about half a teaspoon and we give it a good mix. So we mix the wet ingredients very well. Remember, we're not adding any extra oil or fat to this. Okay, this is it. Then the next thing that we add to this is very little bit of, like a pinch of pink Himalayan salt for that kick. I mean, it's not like it's totally optional. Why I'm saying optional? Because Rajgira or Amaranth is also a millet which people eat during fasting and बहुत लोग salt नहीं खाते हैं. So you can totally skip the salt. उससे कोई भी difference नहीं होगा. After we mix this, then we take a measuring cup. Please stick to the measurements when you are, especially when you're baking. Otherwise, थोड़ा improvisation चल जाता है. Baking में you cannot. Otherwise, you don't get the correct results. Okay. We take about 4 cups of puffed amaranth. Okay. 4 baking cups. After you're done adding this, mix this gently. Do not be very harsh because this is a very soft and very light millet. So you have to be very gentle while you handle this millet. While you mix this halfway, we will be adding our chopped nuts. So this is 1 full cup of chopped nuts. You can add more. You can add 1.5, also totally up to your choice. Also, if you want to add seeds to this granola, this is where you add the seeds. This is at this point you can add seeds. You can add easily about half a cup of seeds as well. Okay, so let's add the nuts. So the chopped nuts that I've taken is a mix of cashew, walnut and almonds, but you can go for whatever nuts. You can add pecan, you can add macadamia, you can add pistachio, you can whatever you feel like. It's absolutely okay. So basically this recipe is a little open recipe. You can do your improvisations also in this when it comes to flavoring and adding things like nuts. And only thing you need to remember, do not go wrong on the amaranth and the wet ingredient mixture. Otherwise it becomes too watery and it will become very difficult to bake. So once all this has been mixed gently and mixed very well, now that you've mixed this well, so at this point you can remember, if you want to sweeten it a bit more, if you are a diabetic or a person who's avoiding sugar, can add a little bit of stevia here if you want to sweeten it. But the outcome of this whole granola is not very sweet because we eat it with fruits and little sweetened curd. Again, sweetened curd is also, or sweetened milk, whatever you want to add. Now once this mix is ready, you get a baking tray ready with a butter paper on, and you gently pour this mixture and you spread this evenly. Don't worry if you see lumps there. You don't need to be very particular about that, because once the granola is baked, those clusters that come, they taste amazing. So you'll know once it's baked what I'm talking about. And you can taste at this point also, because puffed rajgira is already a cooked thing, so it's not like an uncooked thing. You can do the taste check here before you put it for baking. If you want little more sweet, you can put in stevia. If you don't want to add stevia, you can put in some honey or maple at this point, okay, if you are not a diabetic. So let's do a taste check. I love it. I don't need any more sweetener to this. But as I said, if you want to add some more sweetener, most welcome. But please make sure do not add something processed to it, okay? That really affects your gut health. That's the reason I'm saying that. Now it's ready to go in the oven. So we've put the granola for baking at 160 degrees Celsius in a preheated oven. So preheat the oven for about 10 minutes and then put it for about 30 to 40 minutes. One thing you need to remember while it's baking, every 10 minutes take it out, just stir it once and then put it back. So just let it become nicely crispy. Don't burn it because it's a very soft. Do not burn it. While the granola is baking, let us get ready with how do you want to plate it. So today in this recipe, we are going to show you serving it in 2 different ways. One is if you want to eat it right away. Second is if you want to carry it along with you to your work or to your office or to your college. How do you do that, okay? So once this granola is done and it comes to room temperature, just add in some mixed berries. We are adding berries, not raisins, because again I said it's a diabetic friendly recipe. Diabetic friendly recipe में हम dates, raisins ये सब चीजें नहीं add करते हैं because उनको sugar spikes देता है वो. Berries, dried unsweetened berries, sugar spikes आपको नहीं देता है. So we've added dried unsweetened berries to this. Remember, this is a diabetic friendly recipe. So that's why we're not adding raisins and dates to this, because raisins, dates, anjeer, all these things are way higher in sugar than unsweetened berries. So the best thing for diabetics is to add unsweetened berries in their desserts, because वो आपको sugar spikes नहीं देता. It avoids sugar spikes. Of course, you have to be careful with the quantity you are eating. So portions are always important. Right, now we come to the plating of this granola. Bring it to room temperature and store it in a airtight box, and you can store it outside. You don't need to store it in the fridge. First way we are going to plate it is in a cup for breakfast. For that, what I have done is I've just taken some hung curd. This is not sweetened as of now. Okay, this hung curd that we've taken is nicely beaten for that creamy effect, you know. Hung curd obviously is not sweet at all. Obviously, you can leave it unsweetened. Flavors आप थोड़ा सा डाल दीजिए इसमें. It tastes even better. So a little bit of vanilla here, little pinch of cinnamon powder. If you want to sweeten it, you have two options if you're a diabetic. One is you can use this apple sauce. Second option is you can use any good quality stevia. I have already put applesauce in the granola, so I would prefer stevia because this is what I prefer. You can add the applesauce also. So I've just added as per my sweetness, and we've taken about 2 to 3 cups of hung curd. You can go as much as you like. It's totally optional, and mix this very well. That's it, we are ready to plate. Let's get on to the plating now. As simple as it is, we take a cup and we put some chopped or sliced strawberries. You can chop them whatever, however you want. जो भी सीजनल फ्रूट है आप डाल सकते हो. आप स्ट्रॉबेरी डाल सकते हो, आप एप्पल्स डाल सकते हो. लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स आई डोंट गेट strawberries which are very sweet in India. I add in a little bit of stevia to sweeten it, or else I can add in the same applesauce also to sweeten the strawberries. The next step to this is adding our sweetened hung curd, and we layer it. You can give as many layers as you want. So I just give 2 layers. I put some strawberries again over here. 1 thin layer of the hung curd, very thin layer, not too much, because now our hero is going to come in, the granola. Where now look at this beautiful cup. It's ready for your breakfast, but it needs the granola, which is the hero of our dish. Here we go. We add in the granola. So the reason we have added this granola on top, because you need to enjoy it crispy, otherwise it does not taste that good and becomes soggy very quickly. It loses its crispness. So हमने जो ये ग्रेनोला को प्लेट किया है in a mug, you can put it in a cup, you can put it in a bowl as you like it. You can put as many layers of strawberry and the dahi, and this is how we have plated it. And just to make it look a little more prettier, hope you all liked this granola recipe, this diabetic friendly granola. Store it in an airtight box. Close the lid properly. You can keep it easily for 3 to 6 months also. But ideally उतना देर कोई रखता नहीं है. So 1 से 1.5 महीने में खत्म हो जाएगा. And this is how we plated it. So one is in a cup. I love serving things in a cup and glass. So you can serve it in a bowl. You can serve it however you like, but I've served it with yogurt, fruits and everything. So this is how we serve it if you want to eat it at home. But if you want to carry it to your office, workplace or wherever, this is how you serve it. Because if you mix the dahi and the strawberries with the granola, it becomes soggy. So you have to be careful. Just carry the granola in a bottle separately and carry your yogurt or almond milk or whatever you want to club it with, your fruits, in a separate jar. Okay. Please don't forget to put the lid tight. So this this was my diabetic friendly, no sugar added granola recipe. This is what it is, and this is how I've served it. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you really like the recipe, do subscribe to my channel, press the bell icon, and do stay tuned for more recipes, because I'm going to be coming up with a lot of recipes and sharing a lot of healthy tips also with you all. So stay happy, stay healthy. Bye for now.
The apple sauce and the almond butter recipe will be shared very soon on this page, so please stay tuned.